You emerge from a tiny bubble at the water's surface, one of hundreds of eggs stuck to what your dad calls home, but everyone else calls spit foam. Welcome to the glamorous world of being a Siamese fighting fish, where your nursery is literally made of saliva and air. Your first view of the world? The underside of a rice paddy leaf and your dad's angry face staring down at you. He's been blowing bubbles for days to make this nest, and now he's circling below you with the intensity of a mall security guard on Black Friday. For the first 3 days, you can't even swim properly. You're just a tiny comma with eyes, dangling from your bubble with a yolk sac attached to your belly. Every time you fall out of the nest, Dad scoops you up in his mouth and spits you back into place. Talk about helicopter parenting, except the helicopter has fins and an anger management problem. Day 4 arrives, and your yolk sac finally disappears. Time to swim. Except you quickly realize that swimming horizontally is overrated when you've got the buoyancy control of a deflating balloon. You bob up and down through the murky water, trying to catch microscopic organisms that you can barely see. Your dad's still on patrol duty, but his patience is wearing thinner than gas station toilet paper. By day 5, something shifts. Your dad looks at you and your siblings differently. That protective gleam in his eyes? Gone. Replaced with something that screams, "Buffet opening soon." You and about 200 of your brothers and sisters scatter into the thick vegetation faster than kids when the streetlights come on. Good thing these rice paddies are basically underwater jungles, because hiding spots are now your best friend. Your early days are spent playing the world's most stressful game of hide and seek. Water bugs want to eat you. Dragonfly larvae want to eat you. Birds want to eat you. Even the snails are giving you suspicious looks. You're basically a swimming snack that everyone's invited to try. Your only defense? Being really good at squeezing into spaces between plant roots and pretending you're just another piece of floating debris. Weeks pass and you start developing your labyrinth organ. This built-in breathing apparatus lets you gulp air from the surface, which sounds cool until you realize it means risking your life every time you need oxygen. Imagine having lungs that force you to play whack-a-mole with predators every few minutes. You perfect the art of the stealth surface breach, barely rippling the water as you grab a quick breath before diving back down. 3 months in and puberty hits you harder than a monsoon flood. Your fins start growing longer, and those boring brown scales? They're exploding into colors that would make a sunset jealous. Blues, reds, purples, all shimmering across your body. You're looking good, feeling confident, and then you spot another male betta for the first time. Instantly, every cell in your body switches to fight mode. Your fins spread wider than a peacock's tail. Your gills flare out, and you're ready to throw down. The two of you circle each other, putting on a display that's part fashion show, part WWE SmackDown preview. He flares back at you, and suddenly you're locked in the world's angriest staring contest. This goes on for what feels like hours until one of you decides to escalate. You lunge forward, trying to bite his fins, but he's quick. He counters with a tail slap that sends you spinning. The fight rages on, both of you taking chunks out of each other's beautiful fins until finally he retreats into the vegetation. Victory tastes sweeter than mosquito larvae. But winning one fight just means you've earned the right to fight more. Every few days, another male wanders into your territory, and the whole dramatic performance starts again. Your fins, once pristine and flowing, now look raggedy from constant battles. You're basically wearing your resume on your body, each tear and notch a testament to your fighting prowess. Finding food becomes an art form. You lurk beneath the surface, watching for mosquitoes to land. When one touches down, you calculate the distance, account for the refraction of light through water, and launch yourself upward. Sometimes you nail it and get a crunchy snack. Sometimes you miss and belly flop back into the water while the mosquito flies away, probably laughing at you. The rainy season arrives, and suddenly your whole world expands. The water level rises, flooding new areas and connecting previously isolated pools. This should be good news, except it means more males invading your space and more competition for literally everything. You spend your days patrolling your territory borders, chasing off intruders, and occasionally getting lost in the newly expanded waterways. Then you catch a whiff of something different. A female betta cruising through your territory, her body swollen with eggs and her attitude suggesting she's shopping for a baby daddy. Time to put on the show of your life. You start building a bubble nest, blowing hundreds of bubbles and arranging them under a broad leaf. Each bubble has to be perfect because females are picky about their nurseries. She swims by, pretending not to notice your magnificent display. You flare harder, shimmy your body, and basically turn into an underwater disco ball. She seems interested but swims away. Is your bubble nest not impressive enough? Are your colors not vibrant enough? You spend the next day frantically adding more bubbles and practicing your flaring technique in the reflection of the water surface. Finally, she returns. The courtship dance begins, and calling it intense would be underselling it. You chase her, she runs. You display, she judges. This goes on for hours, until finally, she's ready. You wrap your body around hers in an embrace that looks romantic but is actually you squeezing the eggs out of her. Real classy. As the eggs fall, you catch them in your mouth and carefully place each one in your bubble nest. She helps for about 5 minutes before deciding she's done with this whole parenting thing and takes off. Now you're a single dad with 300 kids about to hatch. You don't eat, you don't sleep, you just patrol and repair bubbles. Any egg that falls gets scooped up and replaced. Any intruder gets the full fury of your sleep-deprived rage. 3 days later, the eggs hatch, and you've got hundreds of tiny commas hanging from your nest. Every time one falls, you're playing catch with your mouth. Your jaw hurts, your stomach's empty, but you keep going. By day 5, your paternal instincts flip off faster than a light switch. These little swimmers need to scatter now, or they're going from offspring to breakfast. The cycle continues, and you're back to bachelor life, defending territory and looking rougher with each passing season. Years pass, and you're not the young fighter you used to be. Your fins are more scar tissue than flowing fabric. Your colors have faded from vibrant jewel tones to something resembling a washed-out tie-dye shirt. Young males don't even bother with the full display anymore. They just swim into your territory knowing you can't keep up with their energy. You find yourself hanging out in the shallow edges of the paddy, where the water's barely deep enough to cover your back. It's not ideal, but at least the young punks don't bother coming here. The water's too warm, too oxygen-poor for their liking. But you've got that labyrinth organ working overtime, gulping air every few minutes. One afternoon, you're lounging in your shallow corner when you spot movement above. A water strider skating across the surface, completely oblivious to your presence. You remember when you could leap clear out of the water to snatch these guys. Now, you can barely muster the energy to blow a bubble. You take a half-hearted snap at it, miss by a mile, and the effort leaves you exhausted. As you sink back to the bottom, you notice your reflection in the surface. Who's that raggedy old fish staring back? Your once mighty fins hang in tatters. Your scales are dull and patchy. You look exactly like that old Betta you chased off years ago when you first claimed this territory. The irony isn't lost on you. You close your eyes for what feels like a second. But when you open them, there's a young male Betta staring at you. Fins fully flared, ready to claim what's left of your territory. You try to flare back, but your fins barely spread. He's not impressed. As he circles closer, you realize you're too tired to care. Maybe that patch of algae in the corner would make a comfortable retirement home. At least it's quiet there, and the mosquito larvae practically swim into your mouth. Who needs territory when you've got room service and a view of young Bettas beating each other senseless? You settle into the algae, watching the youngster claim your old spot and blow one last bubble. It pops immediately. Even your spit's given up.